Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez back again. Just recently I uploaded a video talking about sensors and whether they can fool us. If something goes wrong with a sensor, will we become aware of the problem and catch it before we have a catastrophic problem? Meaning a cartridge could possibly go empty and start injecting air into the system. Well, as I explained, it's practically impossible because as long as the sensors are operating correctly, there's a double redundancy as far as the lights go. When a sensor light is on, this indicating light here is off. If a sensor light is then off, the matching light will come on, and that basically indicates that that particular cartridge has reached below 20% threshold level. Okay, that means now it's time to refill it. Well, what if a cartridge is bad from the beginning and it is sensing that there is ink in it constantly? Well, you should have checked that before you install them on a glass of water. You take a glass of water, a tall glass of water, fill it halfway, and then move the sensor from the bottom part, which basically is going to reach solid water, all the way to the top beyond that level of water and air, and it should then turn off. Okay, it will read air, it will turn off. When you bring it down, it'll read water and it will turn on. You should be able to do that prior to installing them, just to do a secondary check. All of these sensors have been pre-checked by Precision Colors and pre-calibrated for you. Now, when you install them on your cartridges exactly centered, you will get a pretty much guaranteed triggering point of about 20% from empty. That means that if this number 1 cartridge over here starts to flicker, you will see the same corresponding LED light on the board also flickering. And at some point, when you reach that magical volume, this light will go off and this light will stay on permanently. Remove the cartridge, top it off. Now, what is the probability of something really rogue taking place? Let's say, for instance, that all of the lights are on, but all of a sudden you realize one cartridge is empty because you're printing and you're missing red. Oh my God. So now you check the red cartridge, the light is still on, and the cartridge is bone dry. So what happened? You may have had a bad sensor. Now, you would have known that had you previously checked them using that water glass method test. I did that on my initial very first video that I showed you guys. And so anyway, how can you then keep this from ever happening, as rare as it is? Normally, we were told, and we have been under the idea that it would be the best practice to disable your ink monitoring system. Basically, once the cartridge goes empty, let it go empty, fill it back up, pop it back in. On your display on your computer, you would see just above empty. You see like a little bit of a, say, magenta indication on the levels. It just won't be completely blank. It'll be slightly, and it'll warn you that you're about to run out of ink. Well, we already topped it off, and so we're not going to run out of ink. We know better than that. But if the chip is disabled, if you have a rogue sensor, one that is indicating that there is plenty of ink, when instead you are running out of ink, while the sensor may still be indicating that it has ink in it. So one way to prevent that is to, as you guys know, we discovered that if you top off cartridges with ink, whether you do it by drilling a hole and using a syringe or using the pressure vacuum fill method, if you catch that and top it off before the low warning, then when you do reach the low warning, it will never be declared empty because you just keep adding ink. Okay, internally, it is expecting the cartridge to have ink at a certain point. You can go back and view my video where I explain this in detail, and you know what I'm talking about. So let's just paint you this picture. The chip is disabled. It is red X. the sensor is malfunctioning. It's indicating that you have ink. And you'll never know that you actually ran out. Okay, now, if you are low, in other words, permanently low, by adding ink to the cartridge as needed, this is what will happen instead. It will not go empty on you without you knowing it. You have it at low constantly. Your light may be malfunctioning, acting like it has plenty of ink in it, and at some point the cartridge will be declared empty. On your computer screen and on this screen right here, you will see a red X, and you'll wonder what the heck happened. Well, that means the sensor malfunctioned. It was indicating that you actually had ink, but you were saved by the chip because all of your cartridges were low or before you refill them. Okay, it's like a safety net. It's a safety net that will allow you to basically realize that even though the sensor says it has ink in it, the cartridge did not have sufficient ink in it, and eventually it went to the point where it was declared empty. Okay, that is something that will probably be of such high odds occurring that if it happened to me, I would immediately go out and buy a lottery ticket because the odds will be about the same. All right. So just keep in mind, it's something extremely rare, but in this world that we live in, it could possibly happen. So my recommendation is to make sure you begin to top off, whether you use a drilled hole and a plug or the pressure vacuum method. As soon as you see that your levels are like 50%, take each cartridge out, weigh it to determine how much ink you need to add to bring it back up to factory volume. So for instance, a full cartridge out of the bag is 112 grams. An empty cartridge is 32 grams. So anything in between, do a little bit of math, little subtraction. Originally 112, I have 50. So how much ink do I need? Subtract 50 from 112, that means 62. You can just add 60, you'll be fine. And keep doing this periodically. Then when you install your system, before you install those sensors, check them on that water glass, half filled with water. When you hold it on the bottom portion of the glass, the light will come on. When you bring it above the water level, the light will turn off. That tells you the sensor is working. That has been tested for you already, but if you feel like you have to retest yourself to, make yourself feel better, go ahead and do that. That will then show you visually that the sensors are working. Install them, and like I am doing now, I am printing worry-free. I know my sensors are working because I tested all of them prior to installing them. All right. If you guys got any more questions, you need any more clarification, let me know, and I will try to help you guys out. All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And as always, happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.